The JSU Tigers got a 27-14 victory over their bitter rival, Southern. And now the JSU fans are letting Southern fans have it. We're going to talk about the game and the pettiness that came after the win, after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYjr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload all the time. Jackson State came away with a 27-14 victory over their bitter rival, Southern University. Southern, they cannot find offense. They scored a big-time touchdown because Keverick Wiggins, he fell down. And they scored that touchdown in the first quarter against JSU. They didn't score again until the fourth quarter. They scored 14 points in this game. They had 10 points in their first game, another loss to Alabama State, and they just cannot figure out offense. Eric Dooley, who's their head coach, is supposed to be an offensive mastermind. Eric Dooley, who's their head coach, puts together really cool play designs. Eric Dooley, who's their head coach, is an offensive coach and has been an offensive coach in the SWAC for the better part of 10, 15 years, 15, almost 20 years. And somehow, some way, his team cannot score points this year. His team is just not getting the job done this year. His team looks pathetic. Let's just call it what it is. They do not look good. Let's take a look at the box score. We're going to take a look at it and just tell you some things that stand out to me and also the pettiness that has followed, not just from Jackson State, but also from the Southern fans. Now, let's take a look. Let's focus on JSU. Jason Brown, 15-27, 140. Most of that 140 came on a big play by Rico Powers. Rico Powers had a 63-yard catch where he did most of the work. He caught a 3-yard route. It's just a stop route. Stops, catches it, breaks a tackle, goes 63 yards. Great blocking, by the way, by the receivers on that play, specifically Isaiah Spencer, the freshman. It looks way better than the freshman. This dude is going to be a special player for Jackson State for years to come, as long as everything goes the way it's supposed to. Isaiah Spencer's a dog. But just an okay performance by Jason Brown. After seeing him be spectacular in week 0 against South Carolina State, I think we're getting more of what Jason Brown will be this year. I think he can be better than this, just 140 with 60 of those coming from one play. But I think you're going to get more of these type of performances as opposed to the 362 yards you saw in week 0. And that might be okay. Like, that might be just, okay, when you can get the ground and pound game from a guy like Irv Mulligan. We've quickly found out Irv Mulligan is one of the better backs in the SWAC. We found, if you didn't know after week 0, the first game of the season, by now, Irv Mulligan is a dog. Irv Mulligan is a dude that can really play. And he is not only a ground and pound guy, he's also a home run hitter for JSU. He's all in one. He's that talented. He's that good. I think if you have him, whenever J.D. Martin comes back, and the surprise play of a guy like Desmond Moultrie. Desmond Moultrie only had 5 carries, but boy, was there some tough 40 yards on those 5 carries. That's 8 yards a carry, coming in, really running hard, and he scored a touchdown. Then you get the big 75-yard reverse play from Andre Hunt showing off that speed. We've seen his speed multiple times now this year, catching, a big touchdown pass, and once again in week 0, and then now the end around going 75 yards. You've got weapons. Jason Brown just got to settle down. I think sometimes the game is moving too fast for him. If he just settles down and give the playmakers a chance to make a play. See, when you have guys like your Irv Mulligans, your Andre Hunts, your Isaiah Spencers, Duke Miller, who's not only catching balls, being, prolific in that, but also blocking down the field the way that he's been able to block, the plays that he's been able to spring by his blocking. I mean, on the Irv Mulligan touchdown run, Duke Miller blocked 2 people. When you're Jason Brown and you have that type of talent, you have those type of weapons, you have guys that are able to do those type of things, you just have to get them the ball on time and in rhythm. This completion percentage, You might not need to have to hit big home runs all the time, but this completion percentage has to be better. It can't be hovering around 50%. When you're 15 to 27, you're hovering around 50%. That to me is not going to get the job done. That to me is not a team that could possibly find its way back in the SWAC championship game. That is what can get you another loss. And another loss is what you cannot afford. You cannot afford another loss because you need help from FAMU. Now, granted, this game was technically a non-conference game, but it's always good to get a win over Southern. And it keeps the momentum going in the right direction going into the rest of the SWAC games that you have to play this year. You play Texas State next week, but all the other SWAC games, this is what you need to be closer to 70% as opposed to 50% or 65 as opposed to 50. And that way, you getting the ball to your targets, you're getting the ball to your weapons and letting them do their thing because they're extremely talented. I can't say enough about Irv Mulligan. I think we've quickly found out who's RB1 at JSU and who is a guy who could be in the running for an all SWAC performance. He could be an all SWAC player. He's looking like an all SWAC player by the end of the season. He's that talented. He's that tough. He's hard to bring down. The first guy never tackles him. He runs through arm tackles. He stays up. He runs hard. I mean, dude almost backed into a touchdown this week. That's how special Irv Mulligan is. And these group of receivers. Really, really talented group of receivers. Rico Powers. We're talking about he could be a pro. I think Rico Powers could very well play in the NFL. He's that good. Duke Miller. Even though the numbers, you only had 140 yards passing, so you're not gonna, get crazy numbers out of these guys. But the what they were able to do is why this. I mean, when you're able to get 270 yards rushing, you're not going to see crazy numbers from your receivers. You only had 145 yards passing, but 270 on the ground, including a big 75-yard run and some other big, 20 here, 15 here, 15 there, 20 there, yards beating up on your rival there in the SWAC. Now let's talk about Southern, man. The Southern, Coach Dooley, it is Southern, at least the fan base, the supporters, the alumni, may have bit off a little more than they could chew. And I think they're now becoming more and more frustrated about what's taking place at their university. Southern debuted this beautiful, beautiful, brand new, pretty new light show ahead of this game. They let us know, like, hey, we're coming with the lights. We're doing it up. We're going to have a good day against JSU. And it started off good with Petrie's, August's big touchdown on Kevrick after K5 fell down. It looked like they struck first. But then they didn't get another point until the fourth quarter. And when I tell you that the folks down in Baton Rouge are turning on their own guy, turning on one of their own, now this is real. They are turning on one of their own being Eric Dooley, their head coach. During the game, there's video out there. During the game, you could hear chants of fire Dooley. Hear chants. Remember, this game was played in Baton Rouge. This game was played at Southern. This game was played in front of their faithful. This game was played in front of their fans. There was an active chant that said, fire Dooley. Oh, and if that wasn't good enough, if just quite frankly having a chant after 2 games in the season, after a season where you went to the SWAC championship game just last year, if it wasn't bad enough that your fans, that your supporters, that the people at your crib, if that wasn't enough that they were calling for the firing of your head coach, how about this? This is a change.org campaign collecting signatures with the lead title just simply being Dooley must go. You see his welcome Eric Dooley as the head coach's introductory thumbnail, his introductory banner with a X, a big red X marked across it with 126 signatures already. Already 126 signatures. Dooley must go. Let's read what this is about. Let's just read it. Started by Mr. Joe Brown. Joe Brown says, our student athletes deserve better. Poor choices at leadership. Head coaching in 80 positions has led the Jaguar Nation to a repeated state of embarrassment. The student athletes at Southern University deserve better leadership. Dooley's lacks the ability to perform the basics, such as making adjustments in play calling. Last year, we backdoored our way into a SWAC championship, only to lose it because Dooley's stubbornness. He kept a questionable QB in the game the entire season and failed to replace him with an even better talent from the bench. When he did, it was too late. We stand to lose our talents to the portal because of these lackluster performances. This guy's stubborn and will not hire an offensive coordinator when clearly he needs to have someone else help him out. He has demonstrated exactly why he is not the best possible candidate for our position. It is time for yet another change at the head coaching position. Since Roman Banks is obviously okay with making these poor decisions in hiring, it may be time to look at his position as well. We are a prideful university, and our winning tradition is at stake. Jaguar Nation, if you feel like we can do better by offering our student athletes and supporters more, please join us by signing the petition in show of support of this coaching change. I don't know what to say, man, because this is not the energy that was brought to me on my show not too long ago. This is not the same Southern energy that was given to me when TC Taylor was announced as the head coach of Jackson State. The Southern energy that was given to me when TC Taylor was named the head coach of Jackson State is that folks were saying they was getting a fork and a knife and putting a bib in their shirt because when they played Jackson State, they knew the winning ways were coming back because TC Taylor was the head coach. Now you guys are trying to fire your coach. Now you guys are trying to fire your coach. And I just think that's funny. Like, I mean, I don't have a dog in a fight. And I just watch everybody. But now you kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly how things unfold. It's kind of ugly how things happen. And I don't know if this is rubbing salt in the wound. I don't know if this is rubbing salt in the wound. So I want to show you guys something just because this Eric Dooley, this petition to get Coach Dooley fired reminded me of something. I was like, yo, I remember at one point, when Coach Prime was still the head coach of Jackson State, I remember at one point, Southern almost made a similar move. Do you guys remember? Can I take you down memory lane? This is an article written by Bleacher Report back in 2021 before Eric Dooley was named the head coach of Southern. Now remember, folks are talking about a change removing Dooley. This was the report. This came from Bleacher Report. This is Bleacher Report back in 2021. Report: Marshall Faulk, Hall of Fame running back from the Indianapolis Colts, the St. Louis Rams, Marshall Faulk, in contract talks to be Southern University football head coach. You guys remember this? Did any of you guys remember this? Marshall Faulk was almost the head coach at Southern during the height of, the Dion to HBCU movement kind of thing. Marshall, Eddie George took the job over Tennessee State, and Marshall Faulk was almost your head coach, Southern. Let's read it. It says Pro Football Hall of Fame running back Marshall Faulk is in conversations with Southern University to be its next head coach, per Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. Rappaport added that the two sides, quote, have mutual interests, but, quote, nothing is done. Faulk, a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro, 2000 MVP, and worked for the NFL Network from 15 to 17. So Southern is in the market for a new head coach after Dawson Odom resigned and took the Norfolk job. And then you ended up getting Coach Dooley. But I don't know if that's rubbing salt in the wound. I don't know if that's something you want to reopen. I don't know if that's something that your organization, but you got to think, Dooley was just in the SWAC championship game last year. Now you're 0-2. It's rough. It's not going well. It's not going how you expected it to go. Marshall Faulk may just be one call away. Marshall Faulk, don't forget, has Louisiana ties. Isn't Marshall Faulk from Louisiana? Isn't Marshall Faulk from Louis? I know he went to San Diego State and played in, but isn't he's from Louisiana, right? Let me make sure, man. Yeah, he's from New Orleans. He's born in New Orleans, so it makes perfect sense. He's born and raised in New Orleans, went to Carver High School in the 9th Ward of New Orleans. I don't know, man. I mean, y'all got the Dooley petition out there. Marshall Faulk still's not a head coach. Ed Reed still not a head coach. Just throw that out there. But since y'all want Dooley fired, I might as well throw a couple of names. Ed Reed is from New Orleans. Obviously, he's got the ties to Miami. He's from New Orleans. He's out there. Marshall Faulk is out there and was in talks to be your next head coach. I don't know. But Coach Dooley's got to figure out something. You can't be an offensive-minded head coach. You can't be an offensive coach and not have the offense clicking the way it needs to click. As the thing talked about last year, you kind of backdoored your way. I wouldn't say you backdoored your way because you had to win those games. At the same time, the wrong quarterback was playing. Harold Blood, I don't know if he's the wrong quarterback. He's not playing well, though. He's not playing well right now. And so you got to figure that out if you want any chance of still having a successful season the rest of the year. And then as far as JSU is concerned, Jason Brown's got to be better. Your defense still looks good. They're flying around, and you still have everything to play for. But Jason Brown's got to be better if you still want that chance to potentially play in a SWAC championship game. You need some help from FAMU, but football is football. They got to go out there and play every week. They got to go out there and win those games. And you have to continue to put on impressive performances and beat everybody on your SWAC schedule left as well. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Because sometimes he who laughs last laughs the loudest. And the JSU fans are definitely getting a chance to laugh the loudest over Southern. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, also the notification bell. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.